Akon has come a long way since his big breakthrough in 2004. He sold 35 million albums around the world, earned 5 Grammy nominations, and helped launch the career of Lady Gaga. He's even collaborated with the king of pop himself, the late Michael Jackson. But Akon insists it's the immigrant experience, not show business, that shaped the man he is today.
I never really looked at it like as if I was African or American or African-American.
I caught up with the Senegalese-American rapper and philanthropist during a recent visit to the UAE.
Just talk about being a young, mostly African-brought-up kid in the States back in the day.
It was an interesting time when I came. There's always been this lack of education of foreigners. As much as America allowing them to live that dream can also easily become a nightmare because you're living it in amongst of a world that doesn't quite understand you or doesn't quite understand themselves to an extent, because when you look at culture and history in America, it's always been borrowed from different cultures. So America's known for having this, a society that's been built like a puzzle. You got pieces that come from everything that just makes this beautiful picture, right? But then you take one piece away, then there's something missing. And there's always been these edges that's just never been complete. The picture looks like it's one thing, but it clearly is something else because those pieces haven't been put together. And I think that's what America's dealing with today. My pops made sure that we was all born in the States, all my brothers and sisters, because he never wanted us to have this, immigration issue, which clearly he was thinking the future, because believe me, had he not thought about that today, I don't know what kind of conversation we'd be having, right? I used to get made fun of all the time in school because I was African, and I had, nappy hair, and I was extra dark-skinned. And back then, dark skin wasn't really in style. The light-skinned, curly-haired guys took all the girls. So I was almost ashamed to be African. And then later, as dark skin started to become more in style, I was promoting the fact that I was African because it made me feel more authentically dark.
There's been a lot of bombastic rhetoric about immigration, this new executive order, about who can come in, who can't. What's your message?
Embrace the world as it is today. Don't try to create yesterday for tomorrow's future.
Do you think that's what's going on at the moment?
That's exactly what's going on. I mean, they're holding on to the past. The younger mind just see development. They see future from a standpoint of growth and non-bias, non-sexual orientation, racial. They don't look at all of that. They just look at progress, they look at love, they look at happiness. But the older generation are still holding on. They might have been hurt by the past, or their mom or dad might have went through, and they're holding other people accountable for actions that they weren't even alive to make. And it just doesn't make sense, because as long as we continue to hold our past and hold ourselves accountable for what our ancestors, our past grandpops and moms have created, or whatever that energy was at that time, that's not the same energy today. So we just have to allow that past to go, learn from it, and figure out how we can move forward together.
I think you're probably one of the best humanitarians that I've ever met, and you are quiet and humble about what you do. But what you do is actually remarkable. With, I think, am I right in saying, $1 billion credit line of investment now to ensure that the work you're doing will light Africa.
The lack of electricity and energy poverty in Africa itself is the reason why it's been standing still for so long. The people themselves can be in a position to build a country from a standpoint of just being an entrepreneur, but it's nothing you can do without electricity. It's just nothing you can do.
Akon, I'm fascinated to find out from you how you got together with Beacon of Hope, which is an initiative which is all about light and literacy.
When you look at our beliefs and what we believe as far as what we were representing to help the people and what they were already pretty much doing as far as helping refugees, it was almost like two organizations from the same background moving parallel, but are connected in so many different ways. And we figured coming together as a partnership would be amazing. Because when you stop and you think about how these refugees are living today, they're living in a tent, a dark tent, with no heat, no lights, barely any food. I mean, they're sharing bottles of water. I mean, you wouldn't want to wish that on anybody. And more than anything, they're being punished for not doing anything. Like, absolutely nothing. But just wanting a better life for them or their families.
So you are? In how many countries? In how many towns? In how many cities?
Man, the last time I had an interview related to this, we was in 16 countries. We probably added about 5, 6 more since then. And it's actually great because when I first did this, it wasn't never for the publicity. I just wanted to be able to do something. I wanted to start building my legacy as who I am, and the fact that I was put in a position to make that difference. I wanted to make that difference because I always felt like if God puts you in a position to have so much blessings, He's not just passing you the blessings for you to enjoy it. He's passing you the blessings to pass it on to others, right? So that's always been my mind state. And I mean, it's just so ironic that light does that for people. Like, when you flash it on one person, it flashes on anybody in that area. So it's like a subliminal kind of thing as well, too.
And this is for profit. Let's just remind
no,
you. And you make no excuses about that, right?
No, absolutely not. I mean,
Why?
Places like Africa, you know, rural areas of the Middle East and Latin America and India and certain parts of China, if you don't empower the people to do for themselves, you're going to always have poverty. And I feel like the best way out of poverty is to put people in position to work themselves out of it. Because once they work themselves out of it, they will never have to go back. Not only would they be able to accumulate skills in the process of it, but they also making money to where they don't have to actually beg for it.
You do come to the Emirates a lot. What does it do for you?
The Emirates is really a great model for Africa because they have limited resources. I mean, they're known for oil, but that's it. And then you have Africa that's known for oil and everything else. And it's like, and it's bigger. So it's like, how come they're not doing that? But then I think about it again and say, wow, what they're doing in Emirates is so incredible. They are the model for how countries can really develop. Everything is done to the top. The best people, the best experience, the best everything, and they don't settle for nothing less because they don't feel they deserve anything less. And I think that mind state alone is something that needs to be honestly pasted, like literally copy and paste.
Do you feel like an American or do you feel like an African?
I feel like both. When you've been around and been, you know, exposed to different cultures and you've been a part of the culture itself, it becomes you. And so I never really looked at it like as if I was African or American or African-American for that matter. The root stems more from Africa because Africa just feels more genuine, if that makes sense. You know, even in America, family feels like business, even all the way down to marriage and, you know, kid and child custodies. Everything is about money, 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 money. And in Africa, it's like family comes first. And the money's not how you pull it from family, but how you gather it so family can, you know, benefit from it.
You're a big name, you've got a big reputation. Politics, is that somewhere you want to go going forward? In the States?
You know,
just listening to what you say. You make a great politician, mate.
I mean, I don't ever see myself actually going into politics, but then I never saw myself actually being this either, because I was a criminal, like literally, I was robbing, stealing cars and all kind of craziness, but I just go and just let God like follow me or guide my path wherever it leads at this point.